Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. I hope you're doing well. What does Ray Bradbury have to do with podcasting? He's an author, right? He was an American author and screenwriter, one of the most celebrated 20th century writers. He worked in a variety of genres, including fantasy and science fiction, horror, mystery, realistic fiction. He has written a ton of books, well respected as an author. New York Times called Bradbury an author whose fanciful imagination, poetic prose, and mature understanding of human character have won him an international reputation, and the writer most responsible for bringing modern science fiction into literary mainstream. There you go. Thank you, Wikipedia. Yeah. So Ray Bradbury is also known for saying something about the writing process to encourage writers. And basically, he is famously advising writers. I have an author podcast, by the way, Living the Next Chapter, and that's where this all comes from. Advising authors to write one short story every week for an entire year, arguing that it's not possible to write 52 bad short stories in a row. And I think this is a great thing that we can consider as podcasters when we start talking about developing our craft, getting in our reps, practicing, improving. Doesn't come from another course, doesn't come from another guru, another payment to some person with a website and a Canva account that creates fake awards and fake diplomas telling you that you're now an official podcaster because you paid them $2,000. No, it comes from actually spending time doing the thing. Podcasting. Writers don't become writers because somebody told them they're a good writer. Writers write because they write. And podcasters podcast because we podcast. And that's how it works. So I'm a little annoyed by all of these gurus trying to sell you stuff. I want to take Ray's idea for writers and apply it to podcasters, because I think this might be the key to unlocking your voice, your confidence, your podcast, because you can't grow a podcast that's not growing. Okay, I'll try to say this a different way. If you're not growing as a human, your podcast can only grow to the level of you. So when you're saying, I want to grow my show, and you don't want to put in the time to grow yourself, I think you're working against yourself, and I don't think you're going to get the same success. So I want you to grow as a human and also grow your podcast at the same time, and then you're going to see better results. Can you do 52 bad podcast episodes in a row? That's what we're going to talk about today. So think about it. You want to be a writer. You want to write a short story. Awesome. You write one story and you're done. No. You write 10 stories and you're done. No. You write 15 stories and you're done. No. You write 52 stories in a row. And the chances of all 52 of those stories being crap is pretty slim. Something's going to happen after about 30, 40 times that you write a story that things are going to start to click for you and things are going to it's going to get better. Why is it getting better, Dave? It's because you're better at what you're doing because you've done it more often. Baseball players get better at hitting a ball by, wait for it, hitting a ball. It's true. People are faster at running because they read about running, pay a guru to tell you about running, go to a conference about running, or, go running. I know. Isn't that earth-shattering? I talk to podcasters quite often, and when I bring up the idea of practice, I get this weird look. Like, I bought a mic. Yeah, great. You have a mic. But how often are you practicing? Like, how are you getting better? And the frequency part's not there. The desire to be frequent and to be on the mic and to craft a story and to understand how to pull together a show, how to entertain your audience, how to create valuable content, how to edit, how to be better on the mic and say less ums and ahs so you don't have to cut them out or whatever. It comes by practicing. And it comes by being committed to a goal. Ray Bradbury is challenging authors to write 52 stories in a row, meaning one a week. And if you get behind, you got to write 2 that week. You got to do it. You have to show up, and you have to do it on a consistent basis. And the frequency has to be there as well. Both pieces. He's encouraging authors to sit down and focus. And what I find with creative people like authors and podcasters and painters and musicians, we don't sit down very often and focus on stuff. We're kind of scattered because we're creative, dude, right? We're creative, man. We want to just kind of create when we want to, when the feeling strikes. That's when we feel most creative. We don't live in a creative space. We don't live in a world where creativity is demanded of us. We treat it as an optional thing we add on in when we want to, right? So we're a little moody, we're a little creative, we're a little out there, not very disciplined at times, right? If you'd admit it, you'd agree with that. You're not always that disciplined. And my frustration as a podcast coach is dealing with creative people who don't have a work ethic. They don't have a desire to put their butts in a chair and do the thing. And they kind of just float in and out of podcasting as the spirit moves. They don't really have that commitment to show up and do the thing on a consistent basis and have some form of frequency, like Ray Bradbury is encouraging authors to do. It's not possible to write 52 bad short stories in a row. It's not possible. Something's going to be great. So, but you're not going to get to the great stuff until you work through all the crappy stuff. And as a podcaster, I find it frustrating when podcasters are waiting for greatness and delaying the process of podcasting. They don't want to put out crap. And I don't want to put out crap either. I want my show to be as best as it can be. But is it perfect? Absolutely not. No, I've been podcasting outside under a tree because my house was damaged in a flood twice. And I don't have the ability to have a studio in this situation. So do I stop podcasting, throw in the towel, and give up on all this stuff because, it's not convenient to podcast? No, I keep showing up. Why? Because I want to be in a creative space. The more you live in creativity, the more creativity finds you. Because you're in that zone, in that headspace, in that location where creativity taps you on the shoulder. At the same idea that Ray Bradbury's admonishing authors to live in a creative space 52 weeks of the year is what I'm putting in front of you as well. Now, you're going to say, Dave, I do seasons. I do 10 episodes and I take a 3-month break. Okay, but I'm just putting this out there. This might be for someone else then. This idea is the idea that you're going to commit to this 52 weeks. So a podcast every week for the entire year. Not here and there, scattered, when you feel like it, when the spirit moves, when you have time. The last thing on my list is podcasting. No. If you want to see the growth potential of your show, the way you're imagining it and how you envy other people, then you got to show up in the same way or better if you want to compete. That's what it comes down to in podcasting. Work ethic. And there's a serious lack of work ethic right now in the world. There are jobs out there that are unfulfilled, open jobs nobody wants because it requires getting dirty. And it's like, really? That's your only problem is you don't want to get dirty? And so you're not going to accept this job. You'd rather sit on the couch and play PlayStation? Come on, right? What would happen if you committed to creating one piece of podcast content every week for a year? The goal would not be to make every episode your best work over 52 episodes in a row, but the goal would be for you to keep creating and be in that creative space. By episode 20 of 52, you would understand your process way better. And by episode 30 and 40, you would probably have developed more of confidence on the microphone, sharpened your skills as a podcaster. You probably will discover what connects with your audience better because there's more things to connect with your audience with. And somewhere along the way, something remarkable is going to emerge. I think as a podcaster doing 365 episodes in a row, which I'm not telling you to do, what I'm doing is that quantity builds quality. Podcasters often spend too much time trying to make every single episode perfect. Perfect. Like, I said that word funny, I'm going to re-record it 35 times until I get it right. That kind of perfect. Oh, I think I heard a noise, a slight little in the background. I better get that out or people are going to judge me. And people obsess over perfection in podcasting. And one episode turns into 4 months of editing for 30 minutes because they just won't let it go. They just won't let anybody see any blemish on their podcast for the fear of rejection, criticism, or people just mocking them openly for imperfect podcasts. Well, I got to tell you something. Your audience cares very little about your opinion about your show. They don't. They care about the content, they care about connection, and you're not as important as you think you are in the world, just so you know. Keith Urban was talking to somebody and they asked Keith, how important do you think you are? And Keith's like, well, I'm a big fancy Nashville musician and performer and best-selling artist. And the person basically said to him, Keith, people don't actually think about you that often. They really don't. And he was like, what? Like, what? Huh? What? Yeah, people really don't think about you that much. Really. And it was like this kind of reaction for him and reset button to kind of go, well, maybe I'm overthinking this. And podcasters, you can admit this really without, you overthink things. You really do. And you think your audience cares more than they really do because they don't. Instead of making things perfect, just go and create something and put it out there. Every episode gives you another opportunity to improve all of the things that make podcasting better. Your hosting abilities, storytelling, interviewing skills, editing, topic selections, and connection with your audience comes from not one perfect episode a year, but by 52 consistent episodes in a row, even if they're like 5 minutes, even if there's not all the ums and ahs removed, even if it could be better, 52 in a row is better than one that took you forever to create. You're not going to build an audience on one podcast that took you forever to make. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that's where people fall away from podcasting. They give up on it because they are endlessly obsessed with perfection. And it's hurting you. It's not a way to build a podcast. And you're not going to see any type of success from one perfect episode that took you forever to make. Come on. Quantity builds quality. It's just a fact. The more you swing a bat at a ball, the sooner you're going to hit it. That's not how it happens. Momentum beats overthinking every time. A regular publishing rhythm keeps you moving forward as a podcaster, as an author, whatever, as a musician, whatever you do. Doing it on a regular basis helps you move forward. You spend less time staring at one episode and more time learning through the art of creating. You also build a library of content that can continue working for you long after you publish your last episode. You have a history. You've got a catalog. Think about this for a second. Take yourself out of podcasting. Put yourself into another form of media or content creation. An author. You can't spend 40 years writing one book and then do the next one. And then you're only going to get so many books. So you're going to have to tighten the timeline a little bit and release more books more often if you want to grow and if you want to build an audience, unless you just want to write one book and that's it. Unless you want to do one episode of a podcast, technically makes you a podcaster, but you're not going to have a library for people to fall in love with. You're going to have one episode. Where I see podcasters struggle the most is when they hyperfixate on one episode, try to make it perfect, they get way in their head, they overanalyze everything, they micromanage the recording process, the content creation, the research, every part of the podcast to the point where they only produce one episode, 2 episodes, 5 episodes, and then they burn themselves out. They're like, I don't have time to be this detailed. And I'm like, well, why are you this detailed? What are you doing? I've done, as an example, not to prop myself up here, but I've done live recordings of an episode in front of my audience at our meetups where I have gone through the entire process, recorded an entire episode in front of the people in the meetup group. They can see my screen, they can see my process, they see me recording, they watch the entire thing. It's about 20-minute episode, 30-minute episode. I do that in front of my people in a live setting. They're on mute, but they're watching. They see me edit. They see me do all my processing, everything. Post the episode to my podcast hosting site, and it shows up on their phone during the meeting. Yeah, the entire thing. And the look on people's faces while they watch is like, how are you doing this? Because when they go back to their podcast, they spend 5 hours on the intro. They spend 3 days on point number 1. Like, it's just in the weeds. And you're not going to improve if you only write one story. You're going to improve when you write 52 stories. You're not going to improve when you only release one episode, hyperfixated, that took you forever to do. You're going to improve when you have 52 episodes. Now, 52 episodes might not take you 52 weeks, might take you two years, but 52 in a row. 52 in a row, no matter how often you release them. I like weekly, but 52 in a row is better than one a year. It's math, everybody. Math doesn't lie. You need momentum to keep your podcast going, or you're going to quit. You will quit. You'll give up. You will move podcasting to the last thing on your to-do list because you're not enjoying it. It doesn't bring you value. You don't see growth. You don't see audience engagement because you have one episode that took you 4 years to create. Come on now. That's not how we do this. 52 in a row, people. Irregardless of how often you release it. 52 in a row. You can do 52 in 52 days. Get it over with. You can do 52 in a year. 52 in 2 years. Whatever. But 52 in a row. I need you to commit to this. And I need you to have a plan. And if you don't have a plan and you're not going to commit to this, you're not going to see the success that you're longing for as a podcaster. You're not going to get better. Everything is frustrating when you don't approach it with that attitude of work ethic and committing to this thing called podcasting that you say you love. You need to demonstrate your love for podcasting by committing yourself to doing it. You get better at golf by golfing. You get better at swimming by swimming. You get better at driving by driving. You don't get better at any of these things by paying some guru $2,000 to tell you that you're a podcaster. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. It comes from you doing your content, not somebody else's content, and recycling what they say, and you just redoing the episode on your show. That's not how this works. It doesn't. It comes from you. Your podcast comes from you, not your guru. Please, for the love of podcasting, stop doing that. And stop paying people crazy amounts of money for things that are meaningless. It means nothing in the world of podcasting. Their credibility cannot be purchased through your 5 easy payments to them. That's not how it works. Momentum beats overthinking. And the last is, as podcasters, in 52 episodes in a row, is do we need just to trust the process of how podcasting works? Ray Bradbury's challenge is asking writers to trust that enough creative work will eventually produce something that's special, something that's meaningful. It helps you get to that finish line. Podcasters can adopt this exact same mindset. It easily transfers over to podcasting. You may create an episode that feels average. Then you create another one that feels average. And then another one that feels average, but a little bit better. And then the next one's average again, but just slightly better than the last time. And eventually, you create an episode that makes you stop and think, oh, wait a minute, that's the one. That's what I've been trying to do this whole time. You're never going to get there if you don't have this kind of commitment to producing on a regular basis, showing up, making it a priority. It doesn't have to be 45 minutes. It can be a 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute episode. I'm asking you to lower that barrier because you are giving yourself an unrealistic barrier to climb over, and it's keeping you from moving forward. You've created your own problem as a podcaster. Perfection, how long the episode is, your commitment to how often you're going to publish, all of these things are barriers for you to move forward. Take them all away. If you can't commit to a 30-minute podcast because you work full-time and you don't have time to record, then do a 1-minute podcast, a 2-minute podcast. You can do that on your phone. But it's not perfect, Dave. But it's something happening. You're doing the thing and you're getting better at it because you actually are participating. Not there sitting there looking at a screen going, I don't know what to do. Just record it. Just get going. You're frustrating yourself, and I can't help you. It's very hard to move a parked car. It's very easy to move a car that's in neutral or that's actually on and running and can drive. Super easy. You just push the pedal. It goes all by itself. It's great. But a car that's just not running, it's super hard to push up a hill. So if you want your podcast to go, you got to get it running. You got to get it started. You got to have all the things happening to make this thing a reality. And then all you have to do is sit and push the pedal. So get started. Keep publishing. The volume of work that you create over time will be your training ground as a podcaster. And it's not going to happen until you say yes, until you commit to this. So my challenge for you, get your Google Calendar out or calendar of choice on your phone or a paper calendar on the wall, whatever you want. I don't care. Get a calendar, write out 52 ideas. Now, again, it doesn't have to be every week. I prefer that personally as a content creator. That's how I would approach this. But I'm not you. 52 ideas total. You can theme them around holiday events if you want, if that helps. That removes some of your ideas that you have to come up with. 52 ideas. And you're going to commit to recording all 52. That's it. It could be 52 1-minute podcasts. We're talking 52 minutes of recording time. An hour of recording could be 52 episodes. Do you hear me? 1-minute podcast times 52. 52 minutes. You can edit a 1-minute podcast in less than 5-10 minutes. It'd be done. Post it, and you've done your 52. Now, I don't know how much lower I can lower the bar for you, but you need to come up with 52 ideas and do it. And don't come to me and look for podcasting guidance and support without the desire to put the effort in. And don't think hiring another guru, going to another podcasting conference, going to another podcasting event, joining another meetup, talking about podcasting again, is going to make this any better. It's not. If anything, it's going to frustrate you more because you don't see the lack of progress that you see in other people because they're doing the work and you're not. So it's really hard to compare yourself sitting stationary to somebody who's in movement, in motion. You need to be in motion. You need to move. So remember that quantity beats and builds quality over time. Momentum beats overthinking, and you just need to trust the process. And you need a world of podcasters around you to support you. Come join our meetup. Commit to being there. Commit to listening and putting into practice what we talk about. And commit to sharing your journey as well. We're here for you. Podcasting is meant to be done in a group setting, not by yourself. howtopodcast.ca. 52 recordings in a row. At some point, they're actually going to become good, but you're not going to get there until you start recording. That's how it works. I can't make it any simpler. Thanks for being here. Take care. Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to the end of the podcast. You're here with me. I'm so grateful. I want to put something in front of you. For the person that's listened this far, you're my new best friend. So what I'm trying to do every month is I have a goal, and you can help me with this goal. Very simple. What I'm trying to do is have 5 conversations this month with listeners of the How to Podcast series. You don't have to have a podcast to respond. This can be the first time ever that we're going to have a conversation, but I'm looking to talk to 5 people. Now, you're still here, so you're one of the people that I would love to talk to next. So on my howtopodcast.ca website is a calendar. And I'd love to have you respond on howtopodcast.ca. Just click the calendar link, set up time in my calendar, and in the comments section for the meeting, just put something like listener. That's it. If you have a show, put it in the comments too so I can go listen. But if you don't, I just want to talk to 5 listeners every month from now to the end of the month. So if you're listening to me right now, you're the person I want to talk to. And through howtopodcast.ca, you and I can get together, chat about the show, chat about your journey as a podcaster. Where are you at? What do you need the show to become for you? What's missing? Your feedback. I just want to meet you. And as podcasters, I would encourage you to do something similar to this in your podcast so that you can meet and interact with your audience. So, howtopodcast.ca, I'm looking to talk to 5 people every month, and I would love for you to be one of them. Reach out. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you at howtopodcast.ca. Let's get in the calendar and chat. Thanks for listening. You're still here. Amazing. Okay, so this is a question I had from an interview podcast that I'm working with. And they asked me, Dave, they said this as well, and I agree with them. They get inundated by emails from PR agents and people. Hey, I love your podcast. I got a great guest for your show. For this show, How to Podcast Series, I was pitched a guest to come on here on a show about podcasting for a turf thing. They make the grass for like baseball diamonds and football fields. And that was what they did. And they don't have a podcast. They are just an entrepreneur who started a business making, grass turf for sporting fields. Would be a great guest for my show, according to the PR agent, who apparently has no idea what my show is about. Because we don't talk about sports. We don't talk about fake lawn, turf, grass stuff. I have no idea what they're talking about. So the question was, Dave, I want to get out there and start pitching my show, but how do I separate myself from really bad pitches like that? Well, the big thing I would say is you really don't trust AI to do the work for you, first of all, because everybody wants to outsource their brain to AI right now and let AI do it all. I have an agent. It does what I need to do. I don't have to think anymore. Well, you're not thinking by having an agent do all the stuff for you as well. Anyway, side tangent averted. For me, the best pitches in an email are the specifics, the humanity, and somebody reaching out to me saying, either myself or my client, we could bring value in this way. We notice you don't talk about this often on your dad podcast, and this person talks specifically about this element that you haven't really discussed on your show. Because we've gone through your back catalog and looked at your episodes, and you haven't talked about those. So maybe this would be a great guest, and they bring value, and they've listened to your show, and they love your content, and they love these specific things about your podcast. AI can write that for you without you even touching it, but it's better when it's a human. And I like something personal in there. Even, hey, Dave, I went and checked out your podcast on Apple, and I left you a rating and review. That's nice. That's a nice touch. I left you 5 stars on Spotify. I left you a comment on your YouTube channel for that episode, and I just want you to know thanks for what you did in that episode. Right? Something, right? Something that makes you stand out is your humanity. So if you outsource your brain to AI, you're going to get AI results from podcasters. They're just going to delete you because it sounds like every other pitch. So make it human, make it real, do something special, do something different. And one thing to keep in mind too, everybody, these PR agents that you're going to hear from, they're making money from these clients to get people onto your show. But we as podcasters never see any of that money that these clients are paying these PR agents. So in a perfect world, PR agents, I would say you need to give us some of that money if you want to get people on our shows, because without our shows, there's no need for PR agents. Just a thought. If you need any help, howtopodcast.ca. Come join our meetup. Can't wait to meet you. Take care.